Hello and welcome to Tech Football. I'm George and I'm currently on holiday, so I am filming this by myself, but today I am doing my Premier League Match Week 2 reactions, and obviously you'll see everyone else's reactions in a separate video at some point. The first game of the weekend was Aston Villa versus Everton. I predicted a 1-0 Aston Villa win and ended up 2-1 to Villa, so I got the right team to win there. Same goal margin as well, 2-1. Buendia came on as a sub, looked really good, got the goal. We also had Danny Ings, who looks like he might be back on form a bit. Digne own goal against his own club, that was probably a bit dodgy for him, but overall Villa looked decent and they managed to hold on at the end where Everton were missing their chances. And there's loads of links of Gordon to go to Chelsea at the moment, and I think if Everton get offered ridiculous money for him, they should take it, because he doesn't really have the end product Everton need to stay up, especially if they're going to use him as a striker like they did. I think that money could be used to invest in a more prolific, renowned striker, because Calvert-Lewin is always injured and they definitely need someone to play up front. But yeah, overall, Villa, solid performance. Everton, they had some fight towards the end of the game, but not enough, and they had no one to put away with chances, so I got that prediction pretty much right. The next game of the weekend was Southampton versus Leeds. Obviously, that finished 2-2, and I predicted Leeds to win 2-0. And honestly, I think I wasn't too far off, because Southampton were 2-0 down, and they fought back. They were 2-0 down in like the 60th, 70th minute, and they still fought back to get it 2-2, which is honestly impressive. That's really good fight in that team, and it shows that the players still believe in Hasenhüttl as well. And Aribo getting his first goal for the club, I always knew that he's going to be a great signing for them, and I think he's going to keep doing that. Obviously, Rodrigo for Leeds, he's currently the Premier League top scorer on 3 goals. He got 2, so I think he's looking very good as being Leeds' main man, considering that Bamford is injured and may not be the level Leeds want to keep them in the league. So Rodrigo's looking very good, and if he can keep that up, he can definitely ensure Leeds get a very high finish this season. And yes, again, the young American Aronson also looked very, very good for Leeds. He's just looking like a real good player. He's making things happen in the middle of the field for them. And then just behind him, the duo of his fellow American Adams and also the Spaniard Mark Roca just looks like a very solid holding midfield for Leeds. But Southampton, it wasn't too bad, because they showed fight, determination, and obviously got this prediction wrong, so I thought Leeds would win 2-0. And that means the next game of the weekend was Arsenal 4, Leicester 2. And I believe I predicted an Arsenal 2-0 win, which means I was fairly on it. I got the same goal difference, just obviously I didn't think Arsenal would score 4 or Leicester to get 2 goals, but same 2-goal difference between the teams. Maddison scored for Leicester, but there's rumours that he's going to leave to Newcastle, and then other than that, I believe it was the Saliba own goal, which is unfortunate for him. But like, Leicester probably didn't deserve 2 goals really. Didn't get to watch the game, so obviously I've been on holiday, but it looks like Arsenal were all over them. Leicester barely managed to get forward, so the fact they got 2 is probably quite misleading. Especially, but if Maddison leaves, you've got to think Leicester in trouble. They conceded 4 against Arsenal after losing Schmeichel, and they've also got rumours of losing Fofana, so I think Leicester in trouble, and they definitely need to sign a goalkeeper. But for Arsenal, Jesus, absolutely brilliant. Is one of his goals where he chipped the keeper, that was sublime, and he's just a great performance all round. And Martinelli is looking very solid this season so far. Could be a great fantasy league pick for anyone who plays fantasy league for the Premier League. And overall, Arsenal just look solid, and Xhaka scored surprisingly, although Arsenal fans, I think, will still be hoping to get Tielemans in. But I got this one right. I predicted Arsenal would win. They did. Not the exact score, but overall that is solid. And the next game of the weekend was Brighton versus Newcastle. This ended 0-0, and I personally predicted a very exciting 3-2 game, and Newcastle didn't really show what I thought they would. They weren't as good as I thought they'd be. Obviously, Brighton seemed to have dominated that game and were unfortunate to not score, which begs the question, why are they not playing Undav unless they already don't think Potter maybe doesn't believe he's already good enough, which then seems to me make me think, why are they not out there trying to sign a striker right now? Because that's what they clearly should be doing, because their defence and midfield are performing really well as a unit. Players like McAllister, Saicedo, Dunk, obviously, like they're all performing really well. So I think they need to look at getting someone who can finish, because at the moment they appear to be relying on Trossard, who's only a winger, and sometimes needs to play as a wing back, so you can't expect him to score a lot. Overall, Brighton probably deserved to win. I predicted Newcastle 3-2, which means I did get this one wrong, and I'm disappointed it didn't end up a really exciting game. But with Nick Pope having such a good game for Newcastle, you do seriously have to think, why were Leicester not trying to sign him if they knew they were going to lose Michael? It's actually quite silly business from Leicester, really, to not get a keeper like him. But on top of that, Botman also looked really good, so Newcastle have got a solid defence sorted, which they haven't had in a few years. And if they can get St. Maximin and Wilson firing, or maybe bring in someone else to bolster the attack, I think they could look like a really dangerous team and push quite high in the Premier League this season. But that does mean that next game to talk about is City versus Bournemouth. I predicted 4-0 of a Haaland hat-trick. The game did end 4-0, but it was not a Haaland hat-trick. I've heard he didn't really have a great game, still managed to get an assist. And yeah, like I thought, Bournemouth kind of got rolled over. They didn't really have a chance against City. They were just different. There's nothing more to say about that. Like, De Bruyne scored. Obviously, he's a top quality player. Who else scored? You got Gundogan, Foden, then like Lerma in goal as well. Don't know why they're playing him centre back, considering he's more of a midfielder. But yeah, overall, City dominated. Bournemouth couldn't even get out their half really, and stinker from Haaland. He's still going to be a brilliant signing though. There's not much more you can say about that. The next game of the weekend was Wolves versus Fulham. A 0-0 draw in the end. I believe I predicted Fulham to win 2-0, I think. I thought that losing Connor Cody would affect Wolves defensively, but considering Fulham appeared to be on the offensive most, it obviously didn't affect them too much because they still defended really well with Collins and Kilman, and obviously Jose Sarr, a brilliant keeper, managing to save a Mitrovic penalty, which was it's just quality. Like, Sarr is definitely one of the best keepers in the league, especially at the moment after saving that penalty. And I just think that was a really disappointing game in the end, because Fulham on top form, Wolves are a good defensive team. It should have been an exciting attack v defence game, but it kind of just pitted out to a 0-0. Obviously there was the little bit with Gibbs White and Mitrovic, but there was not much bite to that game really. But yeah, I think Wolves definitely need a person who can bag them goals, because that's what Fulham have at the moment, and they could look like they'll finish in a similar place in the league, but Wolves are better defensively. They just need someone that can finish their chances. Although Pedro Neto, if he stays fit, he looks like a real good player. He has some brilliant skill, great dribbling. If he could just add that end product to his games, Wolves have a top quality player in there. But the next game of the weekend is one of the big ones, one of the most shocking games of this weekend, and that is Brentford 4, Man United 0. This is the complete opposite to what I predicted. I thought, even as a Liverpool fan, I did back United. I thought they'd win 2-0. I just thought they had good enough players, and I thought Ten Hag would basically have his team out to repair what they got wrong last weekend. And I thought they'd dominate Brentford, but it was complete other way around. Brentford's midfield, Jensen, De Silva, completely dominated. Obviously, those two got 2 goals. We also had Jan out in there. He is quality. And yeah, overall, Brentford just dominated. They were just physically better than them. For the 4th goal on Bueno, outstrength Shaw. Ben Mee obviously was just quality in the air, bullying United players from any corner, and obviously managed to score from one of them. A bit clumsily, but he still managed to score, which is good for him. And then yeah, it's just Brentford bullied them completely. Like, United were lost. Obviously, De Gea, that was such questionable goalkeeping for the first goal, and then for the second goal as well, you've got like De Gea, his poor pass decision to pass it to, I think it was Ericsson in that position. You just got the ball taken off him, and obviously the ball was put away, which was just, it's a poor game for De Gea and the whole United squad really. Even in the second half, when Brentford set out to defend, you didn't really see any attacking threat from United or anything that showed any sort of promise. So I think Ten Hag has definitely got his work cut out for him this season. And the next game was Forest versus West Ham. I backed the Hammers to win this game, even though I wanted Forest to win, which they did end up. So I like seeing a big club like that do well. It was 2-0 West Ham was my prediction. Forest won 1-0. Iwanui had a great game. He was causing problems, creating chances, and it might have been a clumsy, scuffed goal in the end, but he did manage to score off his knee, which was really good for him. He was playing really well. He deserved that goal. And yeah, Forest just dominated in the end. McKenna gave away that penalty though, but Rice couldn't put it away, unfortunately, for West Ham, who did also hit the bar twice. For now is coming close. I think Ben Rama did a brilliant run, but then the goal turned out to be offside in the end, which was really unfortunate for him. And West Ham definitely could have won this game. They got very unlucky. Dean Henderson had to make some great saves, but for Forest, Nico Williams as well looked very good. His ball playing ability, distribution from right back, obviously it was impossible for him to get past Trent at Liverpool, but for Forest he looked very, very good in that wing back role, and I think he's probably the perfect replacement for Jed Spence in that team. And the next game of the weekend was Chelsea versus Tottenham. I predicted 0-0. The game did end up a draw, Chelsea 2, Tottenham 2, and well, to be honest, Tottenham were lucky to get anything out of that game. They were just Chelsea just completely dominated them. Obviously, Koulibaly, what a goal from that corner. I'm not sure of that volley he was aiming for that part of the goal, but it did go right in the top corner in the end, which is great for him. What a start, taking John Terry's number 26. And obviously, it just all sort of kicked off, really. Tuchel and Conte were not happy with each other. I think Tuchel was annoyed at the end because Conte wouldn't even look him in the eyes. Obviously, they were celebrating in each other's faces the whole game. It was entertaining to watch, but there were loads of battles all across the pitch as well, like Romero v Cucurella. Why is he pulling his hair? That's just stupid. Like, it was a crazy game. It was really entertaining to watch as a neutral for those two teams, and I want to know what Joe and Ryan think about that game, so hopefully I'll get to watch their reactions soon as well. And that means the final game of this weekend, played last night for me on Monday. It was Liverpool, obviously my team, versus Crystal Palace, a 1-1 draw, and I'm honestly very disappointed. I predicted Liverpool to win 3-0. It definitely did not turn out that way, despite Núñez scoring a brilliant goal, dribbling through like 4 players and curling it into the top corner. That was quality. But we were playing Nat Phillips at the back, and Zaha was running him ragged, and honestly, don't know why we weren't playing Gomez for the whole game, because as soon as he came on, he managed to pocket Zaha. Obviously, Palace weren't really getting forward much, trying to hold on for the result. But Liverpool definitely should have done much better. Salah kind of went missing, and on that with Salah, I don't think Liverpool should have given him a 4-year contract extension, because he's going to be washed up in the next 2 years, really, and I think it would have been better having him for this season, letting him leave. So he's done his work for the club, and bringing in a good young player like Elliott or Carvalho more into the first team, or just signing someone else who's younger and fresher and bring a new system and a way to play to Liverpool's team. And obviously the big point was Núñez getting red carded, and apparently Anderson was bothering him all game, but Núñez definitely should have turned around and headbutted him. Basically, it was poor decision making from him, and Klopp is definitely going to have a right go at him. And Liverpool were unfortunate. We hit the post once or twice, but we didn't show enough to attack, really. Honestly, Salah went missing. I was disappointed by his performance. Diaz was definitely the one to watch for Liverpool. He was causing things to happen. Didn't really see much from anyone else. I think, it just didn't really happen for Liverpool that game. Everything was just a bit behind, a bit too slow. It's a poor performance, really, and I'm honestly disappointed. It wasn't great at all. So that concludes my match week 2 reaction to my predictions. I think I got one exactly right, got a couple of the winners right, and got a couple draws right, but I got some completely wrong as well. So not perfect, but definitely better than my first week. And that is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, because every little helps. Thank you.